Welcome back to the channel. Today we're checking out the brand new Divo Knives Mini Growler. This is a White Mountain Knives exclusive. The drop on these will be January 9th, 2025 at 12 p.m. Eastern Time over at the White Mountain Knives site. So this is basically a shrunken down version of the Growler V2 with, of course, some CQI changes, like an updated plunge grind. As you can see, this one comes straight down. This one's curved. You have tons of sharpening life on this one. Instead of having the jimping on the lock bar, which I can't stand, they removed it and added a chamfer. So nice and comfortable to get your thumb in there. There's going to be two different blade steel variations that you can get it in. They will have S90V variations in 80s camo carbon, black pearl camo carbon, and purple flow camo carbon. Those are going to be in limited quantity, obviously. In the S90, you can also get it with titanium scales with a dark blast and blue anno. Then you have 154 cm variants like this one with the twill carbon fiber. They have a version with titanium scales with bronze anno, and I'm sure the most affordable one, there's one with black G10 scales. The prices on the S90V variants are all $179.99. The 154 cm variants with titanium and this carbon fiber are $124, great price. And the variant with 154 cm and a G10 is your cheapest option at basically $100. I'll be honest, at first, whenever he said they made these, I didn't really think I needed this because I thought the Growler V2 was a perfect EDC size, just an excellent knife, but you don't know until you have something in hand whether you're going to like it more or the same or not at all. This is a great compact EDC knife at 6.44 inches long. It has a 2.75 inch blade. Your handle length is 3.69 inches. One thing I liked about the original Growler, as well as on this one, the way they did this portion on the scales that goes into the sharpening choil area, so I can get right up to the edge, so I can control it if I'm trying to make a very fine cut. And this handle is extremely comfortable. You got a very slight contour on those scales. Feel very locked in. My medium-sized hands, I get a perfect four-finger grip. Then you have this scooped out part right here with some beautiful fine cut jimping. Your thumb is not going anywhere. No matter where it lands, that is beautiful. The OEM on this one is still Divo Knives, and they have been doing remarkable work, getting better with every single knife they make. Check out that beautiful hand satin finish there. It's got a vertical satin on the flat grind. My dog wants to borrow this since he said since I already have this one, can he borrow this one? So I don't know, you hear him, he's all mad because I said no. Nice top swedge, and you have a nice pokey tip there. Sterile blade as usual for our Divo, and your blade steel marking is right here. Right out of the box, I felt the edge on it, and stupid sharp, so I had to have a little fun with it and do some testing. Let's see how this one slices. Man, talk about sharp out of box. And if I had to take a wild guess, by the way these edges, how long they last from Divo, if I had to take a wild guess, I would say they're sharpening these by hand, possibly on stones. I mean, I don't know that for sure, but if they are doing it on a belt, it would really surprise me because, you know, your factory edges done on the belt usually don't last that long because it kind of overheats the actual apex and it'll become a little bit brittle because the apex is fatigued a little. But this one's just ridiculously sharp, and you'll see how we're testing the ergos. And I gotta say, in this hammer grip, super comfortable. I'm able to get a lot of force into the wood, and the scales aren't super thick or anything. It's just that nice little gentle contour. I'm super locked in, and yeah, nothing poke and prod me, especially being that's a wire pocket clip. And then right here, this is where I'm like, okay, tons of bite to the edge. And whenever I did this testing, I think I tested 3 other knives before this. One in S35 VN, and I think one in 14C, something else. But this one just performed way better than all 3 of them because this one had a great edge. The S35 just didn't have a stellar edge on it. You can see that I'm using that pointer finger grip, and being that you have that nice functional grippy jimping right there at the end of that little scoop, doing the pointer finger grip, I'm so locked in. I can get a lot of pressure down, and this is a very lightweight knife, so you're not getting the extra heft from the knife, and the blade's not huge, so that doesn't have a bunch of heft. I mean, of course, I'll swap back and forth, but yeah, I could have done this all day, and it never felt like it lost its initial edge. I'm sure it's not as sharp as it was when we started, but God, man, it's so nice. I tested just too many knives lately that just have subpar edges on them. I mean, that's their one job. So I want to show you can use that tip if you want, but you will have to come up a little bit higher. But like if you want to do something like that where you had to like really, really intricate, fine line, you could use a tip, but the belly's probably your easiest method to do a drag cut. None of this material, not a single one of these pieces of material gave this any trouble. This edge felt great all the way to the end. I'm sure their S90V's even better, but man, I was extremely happy with this one. This one was an absolute joy to test. The performance was just incredible. The HRC on the 154CM is 60 to 61. I definitely believe that. The S90V is 61 to 62. Just a slicey little blade and very comfortable to use. Now let's take a look at the deployment and action of this knife. So you have a thumb hole that is visible on both sides. Plus you have a deep carry reversible wire pocket clip. It is compatible with the wire pocket clip replacements from Lynch Northwest, but I can get access to do a thumb flick, and the detent is dialed to perfection. I mean, Kubi has been nailing the detent. Reverse flick, outstanding. Yeah, it's definitely an addictive action. If you want to slow roll it, you can do that easily as well. And if you want to do the spotty drop, you can do that, be right down on the tip. Close it up, take a look at these beautiful carbon fiber scales. I absolutely love it. One thing I do love about the carbon fiber is it brings down the weight a good bit. This is an absolute featherweight at 2.3 ounces. Fantastic. I forgot this thing was in the pocket the other day. You have a titanium pivot collar with a satin finish on it. Blue anodization there. Divo Knives logoed pivot. TA construction throughout. Lanyard hole for the lanyard people. And this one has a blue anodized titanium backspacer. There is no stainless steel liner on the show side scale. All you have on this side is that inset stainless steel locking leaf, and it's only a portion. It's just a lock. That's it. It allows them to reduce the weight by a good margin. Ergo is fantastic. No matter which grip I hold it in, I think it's nice and comfortable. Pinch grip's great. You can still use the tip, but I always find, unless the tip's low, it's easier just to use that belly. But if I need to use that tip for some very fine, intricate stuff, I could do it that as well. I think it's an attractive overall design. The lockup on mine, it's sitting at around 40%. The access is fantastic because this comes down lower. Plus, they added the new chamfer on the lock bar. Very comfortable for me to get there. Even with the tip of my thumb, I can use this portion if I want. Both of them are nice and comfortable. If I didn't say this earlier when I was talking about the deployment in action, it's riding on ceramic cage ball bearings with a ceramic detent ball. And being that it's Divo, it is compatible with skiff bearing upgrades. If you want to go purchase some, you can. The lockup on mine, it's incredible on how tight these lockups are for those locking liners, especially on all the Kubi stuff. I cannot muscle any play. Now I could probably flex side to side, not in any movement, but just flexing because of how thin everything is, but nothing that will cause any concern for me at least. Now for some quick size comparisons. Here it is next to the Ontario Rat 1 and 2. Next is a little smaller than the Kaiser Mini Militaw, and it's pretty much identical in length to the Benchmade Mini Bug Out. Next is a little shorter than the Benchmade 945 and just a hair longer than the Vosti Mini Nightshade. And lastly, here it is next to the Divo Knives Pony Stout and the Divo Knives Nip. Real quick, here it is next to the Growler V2. Being that they're nice perfect, let's go over the nitpicks and complaints. I got to be real just nitpicky here because they've already did CQI on this and fixed things and updated it, and nothing's really wrong with this knife. The only thing I would have maybe liked to see is not have a hole for a lanyard, maybe just an integrated little pin back here so you can keep this looking a little bit cleaner without that hole there. But, You know, that's all it is. I'm totally good with it. So who's this one for? If you're someone who likes an excellent slicer, nice compact knife that's priced very well, then I think you should do yourself a favor and consider the Divo Knives Mini Growler. It performed great. It was comfortable while doing so. It's such an easy knife to carry, whether it be the 154 cm or the S90V. I've tested enough of both of them from Kubi to say they do a really good job with them, especially here in the last year and a half or so. Just incredible craftsmanship coming out of Kubi's factory, especially on their OEM stuff. Quality heat treats. So that's going to do it for today's video. Like I said, this is a drop, so I think these are available as soon as they go live. It's not a pre-order. At 12 p.m. Eastern time, depending on when you're watching this, I'm sure these will probably sell out rather quickly. I don't know how many they have of each one, so if you want one of any of the variants, I would be there as soon as the drop happens, because the Divo knives tend to sell out rather quickly. Code STASA23 will give you 10% off at White Mountain Knives, even on the Mini Growler. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave those down below and I'll do my best to get back with you. Hope every one of y'all is having an absolute amazing day. Until next time, keep those blades sharp, smile more. Bye.